Welcome back, my friends, to the Crochet Crowd, as well as my friends over at Joanne.com. We are working on week number 1 to start your stitch along this fall. This is going to be how we're going to get started in order to continue our progress as we work on this together. But let's talk about a few things first. So as stated in our introduction video, we have all the color breakdowns in order for you to work it. The patterns that we have for you match those color breakdowns in order for you to follow along. But of course you can use your own color creativity in order to make it work. You're going to need an 8mm size L crochet hook, but gauge matters. So in order to start today's tutorial and today's project and to get you started for the next 6 weeks, we're going to have to do a gauge test first to make sure our gauge matches so that everything will work out in the end. So let's begin week number 1. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to do a gauge swatch, and I know some of you are as excited about it as I am to make a gauge. Now the gauge swatch that we need to do is in order to test your crochet to make sure that it's going to be able to match. Now because we're going in a rotation like this for this particular clue, is that we need to watch our gauge just for this particular process so that we get the right size crochet hook the very first time. Now Julia, the designer, was telling me that because she's known me for quite some time, she suggested that the hook size for me is not 8mm size L crochet hook like it states, but that I would probably be a 10mm size N as in Nancy crochet hook. So she's known me over time, and certainly enough, she was right. I did a gauge, and my gauge actually dictates that I should be a 10mm size N crochet hook. So what we're going to do first is that we're going to get ourselves started with the gauge to test us. You don't need to waste any yarn, you just need to test it first, and then we're going to begin from that process then to work our way through week number 1 of the instructions. So the first thing that we need to do is start a gauge. So the gauge is representing 4 inches in this particular case. It's a 4-inch square, so you'll see that it's got 4 inches like this way, and it's just a little bit over 4 in the vertical. What you need to pay attention is the distance of the width to make sure that it is 4. So in order for me to do an 8mm size L, my particular square would have been smaller, so I had to increase my hook in order to get this gauge to work. So you don't need to waste any yarn. Even though I cut the yarn, you could just test your gauge and then frog it back out and then begin your project. So let's start with the gauge swatch first, and then we'll continue. So let's begin to start a gauge. So we're just going to create a slip knot to begin, and because I already know that I'm a 10mm size N crochet hook, you can try with the L 8mm size crochet hook that it states in the pattern and see where you go from there. If you know that you are a tight crocheter, I'm tight when it comes to Bernat Blanket, but other stuff I'm loose, then you can probably just guess the size of hook that you would like to try first. So if you get it wrong, you'll just have to retest your swatch. So it says 7 single crochets and 8 rows. So it's 7 single crochets. In order to do a swatch, I need to chain 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now second chain from the hook, you're going to work back across your chain. So there's 1 and 2, and just turn it to get the back hump only, and I want you to single crochet across your chain. So what I want you to do is that I want you to go back and forth. How many rows? Well, the gauge says that it was 8 rows. So what I want you to do is go back and forth a total of 8 rows, and then get your measuring tape to measure. Now for those that would like to jump the gun, what I have found with myself is that once I did 2 rows, I got my measuring tape and I just did a quick look, and then I just made a judgment call whether I was going to stick with it or not. But I'd recommend that you just try to do it all the way to the gauge, and you're going to frog it out anyway. So turning your work, chain 1 and then just single crochet across. So this would be row number 2. I'm not going to take you through all 8 rows because it's the same thing. So I'm just going to lay this down in just after row number 2, and let's just see what our measuring tape says, and then it kind of gives you an indication of where you are going to go with this particular one. So if you're new to the Bernat Blanket, your comfort level may be a little bit compromised, but it just takes a matter of time. So I've already working on my homework, so I'm very comfortable with this yarn just generally. So let's grab our measuring tape and let's do a test. So I have my measuring tape. I have not measured before this camera was turned on, so I'm just going to keep it real. So there is my 4. Okay, do you see that there? So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Okay, so there's my 4 inches. So what I'm doing is that my 10mm size end crochet hook is the right size for me. If I would have used an 8, I would have probably been around the 3 to 3.5 mark, and then therefore it'd be too short. So what I want you to do is that I want you to determine what your gauge is. So if you are getting, for example, say you're getting a 3 or 3.5, you need to increase your hook size, and if you were getting like a 5 or even a 4.5, you need to decrease your hook size. So just take a look. We also have videos on the Crochet Crowd for a gauge swatch testing, and you can see that if this is confusing to you in any way. So once we understand our gauge, we're then ready to continue then on with the instructions. So this is clue number 1. This is week number 1. This is the start to finish of it. We're gonna go through each one of the steps. We're gonna use all 4 colors within this. You will notice that this color here that you choose, if you decided to change any colors, will be the dominant color of your blanket, which is the color contrast D. Okay, so whatever you've chosen for this is going to be the main color. So let's just turn it over so you can see that it looks good on both sides. And you're going to notice that when you go to do this is that you're constantly changing where the corner is. So when you get to start, it looks like this is gonna be your corners out like this, but then you do the next one and then it switches out, and then you do the next one again and it switches out, and then you come back and do it. So it's all a matter of just getting the positioning, and it looks really quite amazing. So on page number 2 there's a diagram. Let's take you there now and let's start deciphering that. So on page number 2, and all of the particular stitch along will have diagrams for everything that we're going to be doing throughout the stitch along. We're going to be starting off in the center, and you read this in a counterclockwise positioning when you go to do this if you've never done this before. So we're going to start off with the round ring, and then we're gonna chain 5 and then start rotating around using one color, and then we're gonna fasten off. I would highly recommend that whenever you're fastening off anything, get that darning needle out and get it out of your way and completely done, so that you don't end up with a lot of tails when you have to think about it. So we have to make 3 of these as we're going in this clue number 1. This is not a granny square afghan, so if you're thinking you're getting quite scared, don't be. It's not. And we're gonna be using this as a foundation, and at the very end we need to place a stitch marker right at the top, and you may have noticed that in the sample that I've already shown you. So for myself, I've already done 2 of these, and now the 3rd one I'm gonna do with you on camera. You will notice that I did highlight in round number 4. There was a half double crochet that you see there. I highlighted those because I almost missed that when I was doing my testing sample in order to get that to go. So let's move on now to go and do the first part and start round number 1 using our first color of the vintage white. So let's begin and start. We're going to start off with a slip knot, and you need to do 3 of these. So this will be the first one of 3 if you're working on it with me, and then you'll do the other 2 when you have more time and get that homework done before getting to week number 2. So I want you to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I want you to insert the hook into the very first chain and yarning over and pulling it through and through to form the first ring of your square. I want you to put the straggler so it's like part of the ring so that you can trap it into position. Let's officially move on to round number 1. We're going to chain 5, which counts as a double crochet, and chain 2. So let's do that. So 1, 2, 3, there's your double crochet. 4 and 5 is a chain 2, so it'd be like leaning over like that. And I want you then to put 3 double crochets into the center of the ring. So go right up over top of that straggler, or the loose end, get it into position and out of the way so that it gets stuck underneath. I'm gonna retry that one more time. So just wrapping and going in, and double crochet 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Then on the corners, and all the corners are the same in this particular clue, is that you're going to chain 2 and then come back in, and you're going to do another 3 double crochets. So the chain 2 in the corners is the consistent one through all the layers here on clue number 1. Then you're going to chain 2 again to turn another corner, and coming back into the center of the ring again, 3 more double crochets, and then finally chain 2 again, 1 and 2. So this double crochet is part of this next group, which is the final one, and so you're only gonna put 2 double crochets in this time, 1 and 2, and I want you to slip stitch it to join it to this chain, and I want you to go to the third one up. So 1, 2 and 3. So the third one up, and that's it. If I were you and you were me, what I would do is do all the center whites now. So do the other 2 and then come back then and do round number 2 with me. So to finish off, what I'm only gonna show it to you one time is that just cut an extra long strand, just enough to use a darning needle, and a darning needle is the absolute best. So just wrap the hook and just pull it through to lock it and turn it around to the back side. I want you to put that onto a darning needle. Now a lot of people don't necessarily like darning needles, but this is the absolute best way to get it. You'll never have a problem. So just gliding it through the back side into some stitch work. Because it's thicker yarn than normal, you really do want to use a tapestry needle to pull it through. So go through one time, and when you pull it through, don't warp the project at all. So that was one time, go back in the other direction for a second time, and then finally just lining it up, and then finally a third time. So 1, 2 and 3. You're gonna do that every time you're fastening off with this when you get rid of colors and stuff. So once you get that done, you can safely trim it right to the project, and because you were going up over top of the starting strand, you're gonna have that, you can cut that out as well. So what I would recommend is do the other 2 ones like this. This is round number 1, and then join me and we'll start round number 2 together. But in the meantime, let's start round number 2. So let's begin round number 2. We're just gonna create a slip knot to begin, and we're using dark gray, and this particular color of this afghan is so gorgeous it's not even funny. It's probably one of the best I've seen. So we want to look for the middle one of a grouping of 3. So the middle double crochet to begin to start, and you're just gonna insert into the middle one, so middle stitch, and I want you to wrap the yarn and pull through just to fasten on. To begin, you're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. Into this very same one, I want you to double crochet 2 more times. So with the chaining of 3 counting as a double crochet, and these 2, the secret number is 3. So you want it to create 3 to begin. To turn a corner, this is gonna create the new corner. You're gonna chain 2, and in the exact same stitch I want you to put in 3 more double crochets. So what we've done now is that we've transitioned from being the corners of where they were before to creating a new corner which creates a diamond shape for the middle section, just like you see. Okay, so see, these were the corners, but this is the new corner coming out here. So now what we're going to do is, once you get that done, go into the chain 2 space and single crochet, and then create the next corner. Do you see the corners are gonna change on you? So the next corner is going to be created in the middle one of the grouping of 3, and it's gonna be 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, all within that same one. So what I want you to do is complete this all the way around the same fashion. So chain 2 now, and coming back in and creating your corner. And I want you to finish up this round, and then I want you to do all 3 of your motifs. So get all 3 done before moving then on to step number 3. Once you get that done, just single crochet in the next chain 2 space and carry on. So remember, it's the middle, 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, and then you're going to single crochet in the next corner. So I'll meet you at the end of this revolution, and then I'm just going to join it with the slip stitch to the top of the first chain 3 that I began. So therefore you see it. So originally, remember how we had a corner, it looked like this. Now it just switched it, so now it looks like a diamond, and now I want you to fasten off just like I showed you before, and get your 2 others done, and then we'll move on to round number 3. So let's move on to step number 3. This is the same yarn exactly that I used for the swatch. I pulled it out and then I'm restarting. So now that I figured out my swatch in the beginning, I can reuse this yarn, so it's never a waste. We're going to create a slip knot, and in round number 3 we're going to be changing the corner once again. So we see that it's a corner like this, but it's gonna change so that it becomes like this again. So let's begin, and number 3 that we want to start off with to being in a single crochet space or stitch. Okay, so it's right in between the 2 corners. So just go right into a single crochet, and we're going to create a corner like we did before. So we're gonna just attach it, and then chain 3 counts as a double crochet, and then double crochet 2 more times because you've already chained your 3 and that counted as one of them. Then you're going to chain 2, and then in the same one you want to put in 3 more double crochets. So this is creating a brand new corner which turns the square once again. I haven't done a concept like this in a while, as far as changing the corner like this, so it was kind of a nice thing to see within the stitch along. So once you get that done, in the next chain 2 space, which is the existing corner, I want you to put in 3 single crochets. So 1, 2 and 3. Then what I want you to do is that I want you to look towards the next single crochet that you see, and then put in another, make that a corner. So it's gonna be 3 double crochet first, okay, and then chain 2 to officially turn, and then in the same one 3 more double crochet. So I want you to continue in the same manner going all the way around. Okay, so remember in the next chain 2 space, which is the existing corner, you're gonna put in 3 double crochet or 3 single crochets. So 3 singles there, and then again start in the single crochet and do your 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, and then move on to this and put 3 single crochets then on here. So please do that all the way around for round number 3. So I'm coming all the way back around, and I've got my final one that I did here. Don't forget I have to do my 3 single crochets. So 1, 2 and 3, and join to the top of the first chain 3. So I want you to fasten that off, weave in your ends, and I want you to do the other 2, and then join me back here, and we're gonna do the final 2 rounds together, which is the same color, which is the wonderful color, and it's the dominant color of your whole blanket. So let's fasten this off and let's start on round number 4. So let's begin round number 4. I'm using the dominant color, and this is Burgundy Plum, and this is a really beautiful color, and this is really gonna be striking at the end. So what I want you to do is that we look at our square like this from this point of view. We're now going to change the corner once again. So the corner is gonna appear like this. So it's gonna actually make it look like it's diamond shaped. So let's go in the middle one. You can choose any one of the ones for the single crochet. So it's the middle one of the 3. Just go in the middle one, just choose one, and I want you to fasten on, and then chain 3 counts as a double crochet. So this is a corner, so you're going to start off with 2 double crochets. So with the chain 3 and the 2 double crochets, that equals 3, and then chain 2, because that is your corner, and coming into the same one again, I want you to put in 3 double crochets. So 1, 2 and 3. So now what I want you to look at is that I need you to look at a perspective for where the next stitch goes. So you see that this was the existing corner of the last one. I need you to go into the middle one of the group that is before the corner. See, it's right there. And I need you to put in 2 double crochets first. So 1 and 2, and the third one will be a half double crochet because it needs to decrease in size. So just half double crochet that third one in. Okay, so that's so it's 2 doubles and a half. So then what we want to do is single crochet in the chain 2 space, and now we're gonna do the opposite to how we got there. So the middle one of the grouping of 3 is gonna be a half double crochet to start, and then 2 double crochets. Then what you want to do is that you want to start your next corner. So the next corner is the middle one of the 3 single crochets. So you're just gonna do 3 double crochet, 1, 2 and 3, and then chain 2, and then 3 double crochet back in that same spot. So I'm gonna just take you through one more side just to make sure that you got it. So the 3 double crochets are done. So now you're going to advance. So you're just gonna look, here's the next corner of the existing one. You're gonna go in the middle one of the group of 3, and you're gonna start off with 2 double crochets first, and then the third one that will go in will be a half double crochet, so it gets shorter. So it's a half. You're going to single into the chain 2 space, and now you're gonna do the opposite. So you're looking for the middle one of the grouping of 3, and start off with a half double crochet first, and then put in 2 more double crochets after that, and then go to where you see the 3 single crochets on the existing corner, and I want you to go into the middle one and apply another corner in there. So it's 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 double crochet. So what I want you to do is I don't want you to continue in that same manner going all the way around. So you can reverse this video if you want to. So you're gonna go to the middle one of the grouping of 3 and put in 2 double crochet and a half double crochet. You're going to single crochet in the existing chain 2 space, and then come to the middle one and start off with a half double crochet and then 2 double crochet, and then start your next corner in the middle one of the grouping of 3 single crochets. Please do that all the way around for round number 4, but do not fasten off at the end of this round. When you come all the way back around, I just did my single crochet in this existing chain space in the corner. So I'm coming to the middle one and I'm just doing my half double crochet first, and then my 2 double crochets. And then once you get that done, just slip stitch it to the top of the first chain 3, but do not fasten off. We're going to continue this color one more time, and you can see that it's looking out pretty good. So you can see that we've changed from being like that to that to that, back to this. So this is what we're going to keep at first square. So round number 5, we're gonna do a layer like this one more time, but it's a little bit different, and then that's it. And then you can do the other squares and then get this done for week number 2. So let's continue to round number 5. So let's begin round number 5. So we're in this stitch where we slip stitch, but we need to move ourselves to a corner. So we have to slip stitch a total of 3 times over. So just go to the next one and slip, and go to the next one and slip, and finally the chain 2 space corner and slip. We're now ready to begin. So corners will always be the same. So it's chain 3 to begin, and it's going to be 2 double crochets. So that gives you a total of 3 like it was before. And then corner to turn is chain 2 and then 3 double crochet into that same one. So what you have to watch out for this time in round number 5, which is the final round for this clue, is that you have to chain 1 after each kind of instruction. So once you get that done, chain 1, and then just come into the next gapping of space. So do you see that these are grouped? Come into the next gapping of space and put in 3 double crochet, and then chain 1 after that. Okay, so I'm finishing it with the chain 1. So your next one is going to be in the single crochet that's right in the middle, and you're going to apply 3 double crochets into that one. So 1, 2 and 3, and then chain 1. So your next one is in between the 2 groups. Do you see that? It's in between the 2 groups there, and apply 3 double crochet. And then what are you gonna do right after that? You're going to chain 1, and then you're going to make another corner. So in the corner that's existing, you're going to make another corner. So put in 3 double crochet first, chain 2 and 3 double crochet to turn. So let's just quickly review another side. I'm not gonna do it with you on camera, but I'll just talk you through it. Okay, so you're going to chain 1 after you get your grouping of your corner. You're going to go into this space right here. Okay, you're gonna put 3 double crochet, chain 1. Your next one is in the middle one, the single crochet, 3 double crochet and then chain 1. Then you're gonna come to this gapping space, 3 double crochet and then chain 1, and then you're gonna do another corner like you have. So 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. I want you to do that all the way around for this round, and this is gonna be the conclusion for this particular clue for this week. So let's get that done. I'll see you at the end of this round. So I'm coming all the way back around. Don't forget your chaining 1s in between your groups in 3. So just slip stitch to the top of the first chain 3. Now before you actually go any further, what I would highly recommend, make sure you do go into a chain, not into a gap space. So before you go any further I want you to place a stitch marker. So where are you gonna get a stitch marker? Well, you can buy one, or you can just do what I do. Just use some leftover yarn, or you can cut a new piece. And I want you to come into the middle one of the group that you have. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Come into the middle stitch of the middle one that you have, and I want you to place a stitch marker. So why are we doing that? Really kind of not sure yet. I haven't looked ahead, but I have done this with all my examples so that I have a stitch marker in place that will be removed. And now that that's in place, I can just safely get rid of this yarn. We're gonna fasten off completely, and then that's it for this clue. And we'll see you back next week in order to continue on to week number 2. So now that you know how to do the square, you need to make 3 of those in order to have this all ready to go for week number 2. So I guess that's your homework. So until next time, I'll see you next week as we start our next clue, week number 2. We'll see you. Bye-bye. Hey everybody, welcome to week number 2 as we continue our stitch along with our friends over at Joann.com. Now we're going to continue along with putting the 3 pieces that we made together last week in order to put it together this week in order to create the foundation of the center of your Afghan. You're going to see how all those 3 work together. Again, there's written instructions, crochet diagram, as of course you can follow me here on the tutorial in order to get started. So without further ado, let's head on into the studio and let's get you started right now. So let's continue on to week number 2. Week number 2, we're going to take the 3 motifs and we're going to put them together. We're just going to apply and attach them together just like you see with the vintage white that you see. And then what we're going to do is 2 rows of extra color just like you see. So what I'm going to do is that if you turn it sideways like this, you really get a good glimpse of how it's going to go. So on page number 2, my favorite page, we're going to do a diagram. So let's take a look at that next. So the crochet diagram is showing only 2 motifs. There's 3, but the instruction that you see here is identical. So the third one just to visualize that it's happening over here, and so you have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what we're going to do is that we're going to join it. So where the stitch marker was that we placed in the very center, we're going to start and then work our way across, and then we're gonna join it through a 2 together double crochet, and then we're just gonna go up to the middle, and then we're just gonna go back and forth and get smaller into a little square. We're then gonna do the other side. So you do all 4 like that, and then we're gonna do 2 rows on both sides in order to get this done. So the color that they're suggesting is vintage white for these middles. So let's now get our crochet hook and let's get going. So we have 2 motifs together just like you see. One has the stitch marker here in the middle. The other one, you just got to know that the middle one is the middle one of the grouping of 3 is also the other side of where this small square is going to go. You're not going to sew these motifs together. You're going to use a 2 together double crochet in order to have those joined together. So right where I would put the 1 stitch marker just so that you understand it on the one side there, and I would just create a slip knot, and we're going to join with the slip knot to that same one. So once you know where it is, you can pull that out and just insert your hook, and let's just join it with the slip stitch. So let's make our way across this section here and jump over here to the middle, and then we're just gonna get smaller and smaller, and you're gonna do this for all 4. So to begin, you're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. You're gonna jump to the next gapping space right there, and you're going to place in 3 double crochet. I'd go right over top of that straggler line just so that you catch it underneath and it will be hidden. So 1, 2, and 3. So now that the first one is in, I would let the straggler just fall out the back side and then just chain 1 and then just put in another 3 double crochets into the next gapping space that you see. So 1, 2, and 3. So don't chain 1 now, and what we're going to do is that we're gonna put the 2 motifs together. So what we're gonna do is 2 together double crochet. So wrap the hook and go into the corner of this one here and insert in, pull through 2 and hold it. Okay, so don't finish that stitch. So wrap the hook and go into the chain space on the other one right in the corner, pull through 2 and hold it. So now you have 3 loops on the hook. So I want you to wrap and pull through all 3, and you will see that you just joined the 2 there right in the center. You're going to continue up the other side, so right into the next gapping space. So this grouping of 3 and this grouping of 3 go right in the middle, and you're going to put 3 double crochet. So 1, 2 and 3. Then you're going to chain 1 and go to the next gapping space. So skip these 3, go to the next gapping space and put in 3 double crochet. Then you're just in the middle one of this grouping of 3, so this is like where the stitch marker would be, and you're just gonna just put a double crochet in there, and then you're officially gone all the way across that row. So when you lay it flat like this, you started here, you came down and you went back up, and now we're going to turn this upside down and we're going to go back in the other direction. So let's do that next. So let's turn this upside down now and let's go back in the other direction. So you can see where you buried the yarn in when you went up over top of it, so you can get rid of that now. Get rid of those loose ends as you're going on this project. I would highly recommend it. So let's go across the next row. You're going to chain 3. So 1, 2 and 3, and then in the same double crochet that you just had there, I want you to place another double crochet in there. And then I want you to chain 1, and then in between the 2 groups of the white that you see, I want you to place in 3 double crochet. So let's count those out. So 1, 2 and 3. And now we're gonna immediately do a 3 together double crochet. So let's determine where we need to go on this one. So what we need to do, this grouping of 3, we want to go in the last one. We're gonna just wrap the hook and go into the last double crochet of that grouping of 3, insert the hook in, pull through 2 and hold it. So don't get rid of it. We're then going to go into the top then of these 2 together, double crochet, wrap the hook, going into that one, pull through 2 and hold it. We're then gonna come into the first one of this grouping of 3, wrap the hook into the first one, pull through 2 and hold it. You now have 4 loops on the hook. You're gonna wrap and pull through all 4. And so that was a 3 together double crochet. So you see 1, 2 and 3. We're now going to work our way back up the other side. So go in between the 2 of the grouping of whites there and put in 3 double crochet. So 1, 2 and 3. I want you then to chain 1, and in the turning chain, not a gap space, I want you to place in 2 double crochets, and that will complete that row off. So 1 and 2. So while I'm here, I'm going to turn my project upside down and go back in the other direction, just like you see, and then we're gonna continue then into the next row. We're now gonna go into row number 3. We're gonna chain up 3, so 1, 2 and 3, and in this gapping space that you see right there, I want you to place in 3 double crochet. So 1, 2 and 3. Then I want you to chain 1, and we're gonna do another 3 together double crochet. So you're gonna come into the last one of this grouping of 3, so the last stitch. So wrapping in, pull through 2 and hold it. You're gonna come in the top of this 3 together double crochet, pull through and hold it, and then the first one of this grouping of 3, pull through 2 and hold it. 4 loops back on the hook, pull through all 4 loops, and that's 3 together double crochet achieved once again. So then we're gonna work our way back up the other side. So chain 1 first, and then in the next gapping space that you see right here, I want you to place in 3 double crochet. So 1, 2 and 3. And then what you're going to do is that 1 double crochet into the last stitch that you have, just like that. Okay, so we have 1 more row to do, or sorry, 2 more rows to do, and then you'll see that the square has been formed. So let's turn this upside down and do the next row. So the next row we have is that we're going to chain a total of 3. So 1, 2, 3, and you're going to double crochet in the same stitch as that one. And then we are going to do 3 together double crochets again. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the chain one space first. This time pull through 2 and hold it. We're gonna go into the top of the 3 together double crochet, pull through 2 and hold it, and then into the next chain one space, pull through 2 and hold it. You get 4 loops back on the hook, pull through all 4, and let's finish off this row. So there's gonna be 2 double crochets then into the last turning chain. So 1 and 2. This turn will work, so just turn it over. Let's do the very last one here. Nice and simple. We are going to do chaining of 3. So you have 1, 2, and 3. And then what we have together is a 2 together double crochet. So it's just gonna wrap going into the top of this 3 together double crochet and pull through. And then we're gonna go into the last stitch here, the last turning chain, pull through 2 and hold it. You have 3 loops back on your hook here, pull through all 3 and you're done. So what you're going to do then is just fasten that off. So what I need you to do is I need you to do the same with the other side here, and I need you then to attach your 3rd motif, okay, on the other side here, and do the exact same here and here. So I'm gonna leave that with you, and then when we come back we'll start our rows across. So please do all of these sections now. Just as an extra note, so I've done the other side, I've turned it over, and I'm starting the same thing on the other side of this. Don't forget that in the middle here, even though you've already attached it to the middle when you were on this side, you're still going into the same spot. So these in particular burgundies are never attached together. These are holding it, the motifs together, just like you see. So you'll do that on both of those then when you're hitting the other side. So make sure that you do go into those corner spaces like you did before. So, okay, so I'll see you at the end of this section, and then we're gonna continue then with the rows going up and down. So we're now back and we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 done just like you see, and there's nothing on the outside, so those are empty. So don't worry about those. And so now we're gonna go in the up and down motion, and the best thing is to do is just show you the diagram, show you what we're going to do, and then we're gonna ride those ups and downs as we go across. We only have to do 2 rows on each side of this, and then we're done week number 2. So in week number 2, the top and the bottom is exactly identical. So once you do one on the top, then you'll do the same instruction on the other side. They put it in here for your convenience. So we're gonna start on the edge, and then essentially every double crochet and chain 1 space is gonna get a double crochet all the way up until the first corner, and then we're going to apply 5 double crochets then into the corner and then come on down again. So what we need to do is that I highlighted here in the center section here, there's 5 double crochet together. Just look where it's being attached to, so you can see that it's going into the first stitch of this, second stitch of this, and then you see that there's going into the chaining area, and then into the top of that chain area, and then it continues in the up motion again. So when it goes up in the sides, just look at this diagram and just follow it up and see exactly where it's going. When you go up and down, for example on the sides of a row, just like you see here, you just have to be very strategic, and you want to get those counts to be accurate so that the counts are right on the other side. So let's get ourselves going, and I'm gonna show you how to get started, and then I'm gonna meet you at the top. We're gonna come down, and then I'll meet you at the bottom, and then we'll take our way up too. So let's continue to do that. We're gonna go up and down, up and down. So let's now get our aubergine color, and we're going to attach it to the very corner of this project. So just follow it across and go right into a corner and attach. And we're going to attach by chaining 3. So just with the slip stitch attach, chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. We're going to go do a 2 together, and so the first 2 stitches here, this grouping of 3 is gonna come together. So wrap the hook going into the top of that stitch and leave that straggler down on top so it gets stuck underneath, and I want you to pull through 2 and hold it, and do the next stitch, pull through 2 and hold it, and you have 3 loops on your hook. So you're just gonna pull through all 3, and those just became 1. This allows it to keep going up on a straight side on the side. So now what I want you to do is 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets and chain 1 spaces, and then I'll meet you at the top of the first corner. So let's do that next. So just 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets and chain 1 spaces going to the top of the point. So I'm coming up to the very top point, which is the next one. It's in the chain, it's the corner. So you're gonna put in 5 double crochets so it turns the corner. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I want you to continue down then. Every double crochet and chain 1 space is going to get something, and I want you to stop right here. Okay, just before you hit this white section, just stop here and I'll meet you there in just a moment. So let's do a 5 together double crochet. So you've stopped just before this section here. Okay, so see that? Let's continue. You're gonna wrap the hook and you're gonna go into the first one of this section right here. So going in, pull through 2 and hold it. So that's 1 of 5. You're gonna go into the same one that this is attached to, and so wrap, going in, pull through 2 and hold it. Now in this chain that you have, the white chain that you see, you're going to place in 2 double crochets there. So just wrap the hook, pull through 2 and hold it. So that was 1, and then you're gonna do it again, pull through 2 and hold it. So that was 2 into that same one, and the exact same one at the top of that join of that same chain, you're just gonna go into the top, pull through 2 and hold it. There should be 6 loops on your hook. So pull through all 6, and that was a 5 together double crochet. So that allowed you to come down and then coming back up. So let's just follow this going back up. So the next side, this is a double crochet, so you're going in the side. I want you to place in 2 double crochets there. So 1 and 2, and then into this next chain that you have here, I want you to place in 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2, and then coming up to this one here, I want you to place in 2 of those, 2 double crochet there. So 1 and 2, and then the next chain here, place in 2 more of those. So 1 and 2, and then we're at the top of this peak now, and we're at the very top here. I want you to place in 5 double crochets, and that will allow it to turn down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So essentially you've gone from the down motion coming up over here. So let me just zoom out a little bit here. So you've gone out the down, you put your 5 together, and then basically every one of these stitches had 2 double crochets in the side, and then at the top you had 5. Let's go back down the other side, and you're just gonna look where these are. Okay, so if you look at this side, how many did you have? You have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of 2. So that means that you have to have 4 groups of 2 going down. So just go into the side. So 1 and 2, so that was 1 group. And just come to the next one, put 2 in there, that's 2 groups. Okay, come into the, just pull it apart and you'll see it. This is 3 groups of 4. Okay, and then come into the last one here. So 2 groups into that one. So you got your 4 coming down, and then the next are doing a 5 together double crochet. So let's start that. It's gonna be in the top of this section here. So right in the top, not the side. So going in, pull through 2 and hold it. Come into the side of that one, put 2 into that one. Okay, I want you to go into the same one that you see the white is being joined with. Pull through 2 and hold it, and then into this empty one right here. Pull through and hold it, and you got 6 loops back on your hook. Pull through all 6 loops, and that was a 5 together double crochet. So now you've just come down, and now you can work your way back up. So going back up, every stitch and chain 1 space is gonna get a double crochet. At the top you'll do your 5 double crochets and then come back down. Just reverse this video, because all you're just gonna do is come back down again and then back up the next section of white. So what I'll do is that I'll meet you at the end of this row, and then I'll show you how to finish that off. So just reverse this video if you need to review how to go back up and down once again. I'm coming up near to the end of the row. I've gone up and down a few times, and I'm just gonna finish off this row. And what I want to do is that I want to pay attention to how it's ending in order to get it to work properly and to keep my stitch counts. So right now I'm just putting a double crochet in each one of the stitches, and I'm coming clear to the end. So here's the corner. So what I want to do is that I want to count that one plus the one before and the one before, so the middle one and the last one and this as together for 3 double crochet together. So wrap in the hook, going in, pull through 2 and hold it, and continue to do that until you get 4 loops on your hook. So that corner is the last one that you want to do that to. And then you're just gonna pull through all, and then you're good to go. So now you've gone up and down, and now it gets a little bit easier now as you work your way up and down than for the last row for this particular section of week number 2. So let's turn our work and begin the last row. So let's begin, and we're going to chain up 3. So now that I chain my 3, the next 2 become together, just like you see there. And now we're gonna work our way up 1 double crochet in each, going all the way to the peak. So at the top of the peak you have to put in 5 double crochets into the middle one of the grouping of 5 that's already there. So you're just gonna work your way up. I'll crochet as quick as I can to get you there. So 1 double crochet in each. Notice that I'm not counting, I'm just looking for the visual. And when I feel it coming through my left hand, if this is the left hand video, that'll be my right hand, but it's this hand right here. Once I can feel that the corner is coming near, I'm just going to pull it and peel it back so that you have your 5 stitches, so you can just see the middle one is right there, and it's actually just straight up anyway, so it's hard to miss. Okay, which is my next one. Okay, so the next one right here is the middle one, so you're gonna put in 5 double crochets into that one. This is 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now you're going to work your way back down then to this section before it jumps back up. So what I'll do is I'll just do a double crochet in each, and then I'm gonna put 5 together at the very base of these in order to make it work. So I'll see you there in just a moment. So I'm getting close to the bottom section where I'm gonna put 5 together. Let's give you some visual keys so that you don't have to count too much. So right where the 5 are together, this is the grouping of 5 right here. So 1, 2, the middle one of the grouping of 5, and then the next 2 are going to become together as a 5 together double crochet. So this is the middle, these are the 2 on the one side, and the other 2 are the other side in order to make that work. So just wrap the hook going in and start collecting all of those there, and you should have a total of 6 loops on your hook by the time you finish collecting. Okay, so there is my 6, and then pull through all of those, and then that was putting them all together, and then just jump to immediately to the next one and start working your way up the hill. Now these hills are not very big on this side because it's the white section, but at the top of the grouping of 5 you're going to put in 5 double crochets and then come back down, and then right where it comes back down again and it wants to jump up, the 5 middle are gonna become together. So please do that all the way across, and I'll see you at the end of this row. So when you get to the very end, don't forget that these 3 are included as 1 stitch, so it's right there. So then the next 2 in front of that is also included for that, so don't get confused on what one is the actual end. Okay, so there you go. Put those forward loops together, and then that's it. So you're gonna fasten that off, and then you're going to turn this back to the right side, which is the other side, and then you're going to start going back across the rows, then 2 rows on the other side in order to complete. So fasten this off, and then I'll just get you started, and then we'll continue then and finish this week off. So turning back to the right side up, and I'm gonna start off in the corner here, work my way up and down all the way across, and I'm gonna do my 2 rows. You can just reverse this video back and you will have both sides of this then complete, and I will see you on week number 3. So now that you've done the one side with me, you're gonna go and do the other side exactly the same way so that you can get your stitch along ready for week number 3. So this really kind of is the hardest point in getting started, and now we're gonna continue to build outward from this particular point in the Afghan as we continue along then into week number 3. So I'll see you next week, and it's Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as our friends over at Joanne.com. We'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bernat Blanket Stitch Along with our friends over at Joanne.com. Well, we're going to continue then into week number 3 as we continue to expand the center of your Afghan outward. What we're going to do on the one side, we'll do on the other. So without further ado, let's head on into the studio. Let's continue along with your progress, and let's get going now. So welcome to week number 3, and in week number 3 we're now going to get even wider, and we're going to be adding 6 more rows on either side. So at this point in week number 2 that you finished, you should have up until the aubergine color of the solids going there, and now we're going to add to both sides. So both the sides are identical, so I'm only going to show you one side here, and then you're going to repeat the instruction on the other side. Just so that I understood it, I've already done one side off camera so that I could follow it through and make sure everything was good. Everything's good to go, and there is a diagram for this. So let's take a look at that next. So of course, you know me, I love my diagrams. So for those that are still following along, the gray area is the last row that you have just finished on week number 2. So don't include that. That's just showing you a reference point to show you rows number 3 all the way through 8. What we need to pay attention to is that the designer has built in an auto correction in this. Meaning that if you've screwed up at any point, this is an opportunity, and I love when designers do this, that you really can ad-lib if you have to. So say for example you had an extra stitch somewhere, this a granny square concept is allowing you to be able to correct yourself really quite easily, and we'll cover that a little bit later. So we have 2 rows of like a granny square concept, so we're gonna go across and then back, and then what we're going to do is that we're gonna do a solid going all the way across. What you're going to notice with rows number 5 through 8 is that you're always starting in the side and going back. So what you have to be paying attention to is that once you get 5 done, you don't start on the other side and go back and forth. You always start on the one side that you're going to do this. So again, this is just showing you a rough example on just a preview on how it is. Of course it's gonna be a little bit longer and you can compensate, but this part of the pattern is really quite easy, and I think that you'll enjoy it at the same time. So without further ado, let's head on into row number 3 and let's get started. So as we get started into row number 3, you're going to notice that there is consistency with this particular pattern area. So when we go to start, you'll notice that there is 4 of these grouping of 3 double crochets done in groups. When you come down the other side after you get the top one done, there is going to be 2 and then 2 and then back up then to the top. So what you're going to notice as you're working your way beyond the end section here is that you're just basically 2 and then 2 back up and etc. So you just have to watch your very middles, and so if you need to correct anything at this point, this is where you can do it because these hide inconsistency very well. So technically I probably shouldn't be telling you that, but it's nice to have options when it comes to this kind of concept. So let's grab our crochet hook. We're gonna go back to this particular color. Of course you can use any color that you wish, and we're gonna make our way. So this has already been done, so what we can do is that I'm going to start on the other side with the right side facing up, and the right side facing up is right here, and what we're going to do is start everything going from the edge and exactly what you see. So they're both sides are identical. I just wanted to do it the first time just to make sure I understood. So let's begin. We're going to start off with the slip knot. Leave a longer string than normal just so that you can use that in to be able to hide it in later with the darning needle, or you can hide it as you go. So we want to refer back then to the very section right here. You remember in week number 2 we had 3 put together as one, so the top one where they're all pointing to is the one that you want to go into. Let's just attach it with a slip stitch, and I need you to chain a total of 3. Okay, so let's pull everything nice and tight. So 1, 2, and 3. And this is a consistent thing that I'm about to show you. So you're gonna have to hide this in with the darning needle later. So you're going to skip the next 3 stitches that you have. So 1, 2, 3, and you're going to put in 3 double crochets into that same stitch. So 1, 2, and 3, and chase it with a chain 1. Now you're gonna skip the next 3. So 1, 2, 3, another 3 double crochets into that one. 1, 2, and 3. Chase it with a chain 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3, skip, and 3 more double crochets in the 4th one. Now that I've done it already once, it's faster to do it a second time because you're more confident in your abilities. So chain 1, skip another 3. 1, 2, 3, go to the 4th. So you should have a total group of 4 of these on the edge. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So at this point you should have 4 going up. you're gonna chain 1 and then you're gonna skip the next 3 and you were going to put in 3 double crochet first into the 4th 1, followed by chain 2. You're gonna turn and then in the same one again you're going to put in 3 more double crochets. So that's the top peak that you need to worry about. Then what you're going to do is chain 1 and you're gonna skip another 3. So skip 1, 2 and 3, go to the 4th for double crochets. There's gonna be a total of 3 of them. Followed by a chain 1, skip another 3, go to the 4th one. So if you ever think that you're off by 1 stitch, you can always just kind of like skip 1 less, or you can add 1 more, and it's a really kind of a forgiving thing because it's like a granny square. So now we're gonna skip 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go to the 6th one, 3 double crochets in that one. 1, 2 and 3. Then you're going to chain 1 again. So chain 1, skip another 3. So 1, 2, 3, go to the 4th one, another 3 double crochets. So these smaller hills have only 2 groupings of 3 double crochet, followed by a chain 1, skip another 3. So 1, 2, 3, and you're on the top of the peak again. And so in the top of the peaks it always will be the same of 3 double crochets, followed by chain 2 and 3 double crochet. So I'm gonna go down one more time just to make sure you got that, and then I'll see you at the end of this row. Okay, so you're gonna chain 1 first, and then you are going to skip 3 and go to the 4th for 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3, and then chain 1, skip another 3. So 1, 2 and 3, go to the 4th. So you got 3 double crochet there. And then this is the very bottom section, so don't chain 1, just skip 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go to the 6th and then start up on the other side. Okay, so all you just need to do is just keep repeating what you just learned all the way across, and I'll see you at the end of this. So you're going ups and downs, just pay attention to what's down and what's up. So I'm making my way to the other side, and I'm going down the final hill, and I'm applying my 3 double crochets. This is the last time for this one. So in this side here there will be a total of 4 of those. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then finally what you're going to do then is just reach over to the top of the first, these 3 together double crochets, and just double crochet into that one, and then that concludes that row. So notice that I did not chain 1 after I did that grouping of 3. So what I want you to do is turn your work, and then we're going to begin the second row, and for this one, and we're gonna be using the same color, and we're still going to be doing the granny square kind of concept. So let's begin to do that next. So if you're familiar with granny squares, this is a really easy concept in order to continue then this next row. So any auto corrections that you may have done in the last row, it really can it puts everything back in line if you had to do that. So we're gonna chain up a total of 3, and we're going to skip in between the first gapping of where these 2 groups are, and we're going to put in 3 double crochet. So 1, 2 and 3, and then followed by chain 1 and continue up the hill. So each one of the spaces is gonna get 3 double crochets in it. And chain 1 after, and keep adding those in. So what I need you to show you on this particular round, or on this particular row, is that how to get in between. So how to come down in between those, and once I show you then that, you can just work your way across. So I'm adding my 3 double crochets in each one of the spaces. So there'll be a total of 4 of them like there was before. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Chain 1, and then your top in the corner here is going to be 3 double crochet. 1, 2 and 3, followed by chain 2, so that it will turn the peak. Same gapping space, 3 more double crochets. and now you're gonna come down. So chain 1, go into the next gapping space, and there'll be 3 double crochets there, and go into the next gapping space and fill those in with 3 double crochet. Do not chain 1, skip over this one here, this is the bottom, and go to this one right here and put in 3 double crochets, and that helps you turn the bottoms. So this is the valley, so it helps you skip over so that you can keep your points looking consistent. Okay, so you can see you've kind of gone up and back down, you skipped over this middle one and you jumped. So your chain 1, go into the gapping spaces, chain 1, top of there, and then continue across, and just make sure you do this in the very base. So please do this all the way across. So as you come to the final section there, it's the spaces in between, so we want to put in 3 double crochets in the final gapping space. Okay, just notice that it's in between the groups of 3 double crochet. It's not the gapping space that's on the edge. So once you get that done, there is no chain at all, just double crochet in the top of the turning chain that you started with. So what I want you to do is that I want you to fasten off this yarn at this time, weave in your ends, and then we're gonna turn our work and then go for the next row, but make sure you fasten this off first, and I'll see you back here in just a moment. So let's begin the next row. So I've turned my work, I'm looking at the right side up. So for now on, for this clue or for this week, you're gonna always look at the right side then when starting a row. So we're gonna get to the other side, fasten off, and then return back to the side and keep doing that. So we're gonna go. So let's begin this row. So I've turned my work, I'm looking at the right side up. I can tell by the front of this, the granny square. So what we have is that we're going to attach to the top of this chain 3 with the gray. So I'm keeping in line with the colors. Just do a slip stitch to attach and then chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and this is what I need you to pay attention to. You have 3 double crochets in the first group. I want you to put the first 2 together. So it's gonna be 2 together double crochet. So just pull through and just hold it. You should be knowing how to do your double crochets together at this point and put it together so you have a total of 3 loops. So what you're going to do is that's how you got started. So now you're going to, we have 1 more in that grouping of 3. So just double crochet that, and you're going to double crochet in each one of the chain 1 spaces and double crochets leading all the way to the top. In the top you'll put 5 double crochets, and then we'll make our way down. I have to show you how to be able to manipulate it in the bottom section when you get to a drop into the valley like this. So what I want you to do is just 1 double crochet in each one of the chain 1 spaces and double crochets leading to the top. I'll meet you back at the top and then we'll carry on from that point. So I'm coming up to the top, just 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets that are already there. Once you're in the corner space at the top, you're going to put 5 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and now start going down. So what I want you to do is that I want you to start going down, and I want you to stop when you hit this gap space right here. Okay, so here's the very base, the 2. I want you to stop right here, and I'll see you there in just a moment. So 1 double crochet in each of the crochets and chain 1 spaces leading to that spot. So I'm just going into where I asked you to stop, so it's that space, and now you have the 2 bottoms that are here at the bottom. So we want to do a 3 together double crochet. The first one is gonna be in the first stitch there, the next one will be right in the space, and the next one will be the last one of the group of 3 here to do that. So let's just wrap the hook and collect the first one, pull through 2 and hold it, go into the gap space, pull through 2 and hold it, and then go into the last one of the group of 3 on this side. And so now you have 4 loops on the hook, pull through all 4. So that just made your base. So now you're gonna work up the other side. So again, starting with the chain 1 space and working your way all the way 1 double crochet in each of the stitches, going all the way up to the top. That includes the chain 1 space. When you get to the top, again 5 double crochets, make your way down to the bottom, and then do the same thing that I just showed you there, and do this all the way across, and I'll see you at the very end to show you how to finish this row. So I'm coming to the other side, and I want to pay attention to the last turning chain and the final 2 of this grouping of 3. So I'm just filling in the spaces with double crochets, and I'm waiting for the last 3 to bring together. So 1, 2, and 3. So I'm just gonna do 3 together right at the very end. I want you to fasten off this yarn then, and then get ready, and we don't turn your work, just go back to the very beginning of this row and restart again a new color. We're going to start with white, and we're gonna get that done. So fasten that off and then just weave in the ends and then just go back to the start of this one and we'll continue it back across. Okay, we're gonna start our vintage white again, well this time around, and we're going to begin and start off with the very beginning. So these 3 that you see here is considered 1 stitch. So go in the very top of that one, and I want you to attach it with a slip stitch and then chain 1, and now this one that you're already in and the next one become 2 together single crochets. So just put those together. So what I want you to do is that I want you to put 1 single crochet in each one of the stitches. Notice how I'm going up over top of my yarn strand so that I can bury it in a position, and then at the very top of the grouping of 5 you're going to put 3 double crochets in there. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna show you how to deal with the bottoms once we get to this section here. So I'll get you to the top and then bottom, and you'll do the rest on your own going across. So I'll meet you at the top of the first peak. When you get all the way to the top, it's the middle one of the grouping of 5 that you see, and that will have 3 single crochets. So it's not 5, it's 3. So 5 is what you would do if it was a double crochet. So now you're just gonna work your way back down, and what we have to do is 3 together at the very bottom of this peak. So just stay with me just for a few moments here. I'm just single crocheting myself back down. So I want to look for where the valley is, so you don't hear me counting stitches because I'm yapping at you. So what we want to do is I want to look to where the base is. So this is the middle one, this is the one before it, and this is the one after. So those 3 are going to become together. I just happen to stop right where I should, so that's just a fluke. So you're just gonna put those next 3 together. So just identify the very bottom one and then look for the one before it and the one after, and just put them together with 3 single crochet together. You're going to go back up, so just starting on the next one, and then again to the top peak. The middle one of the group of 5 has 3, and then once you get to this section here, just put the middle one. So do you see it? There's the middle, there's the one after, and there's the one before. So those 3 will get together. Please do this all the way across for this round or row. I'll see you at the end of this row. Just make sure you finish it off right. So I'm making my way to the end of the row, and what I want to look for is the final 2 stitches that are here at the very base, and I want to put those 2 together in order to finish this color. So we're gonna be bringing back gray after this. So what we want is that this 3 is 1 and then this is 1, so I want to put that one and the last one that has 3 together. So I want you to fasten this off, and then I want you to go back to the starting of this row again, and we're gonna bring back gray and start your next row. So let's start our gray, and our gray is pretty easy to get going again. And the gray, what we're going to do is chain 1 spaces that are gonna get this going. So let's begin, and we're just gonna go into the top of the first one. These 2 belong together, so it's just 1 stitch there, and you're just gonna attach with the slip stitch and chain 1 and go into that same one plus the next one, and you're gonna put those 2 together. Now you still have to, even though we're gonna do chain 1 spaces, you have to do the next one still just 1 single crochet, and then we start the chain 1 spaces. If you would have noticed at the beginning of this tutorial, you would have noticed that I had numbers handwritten as 9 and 5. So there's 9 gapping spaces and then 5 when you come down the middles like this, the smaller sections. So it just helps me to keep count. So you're gonna chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet in the next. So that's 1 of 9. So chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet in the next, and I'm not gonna say that again. I'm just gonna do it. So I'm just gonna chain 1, single crochet in the next, and that's for 3, and this is 4. I'm counting the gap spaces. This is 5, this is 6, this is 7 and 8, and chain 1. And the 9th gapping space happens when you finally insert into the very top of the peak. And in the tops of the peaks you're gonna do what you already know. So you got 1 single crochet in there, you're gonna do another one and another one, and then start going down the hill. So there's going to be 5 gapping spaces. So chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next. So 1 and 2. This is 3. This is 4. And then this is 5. So once you get your 5th one, okay, I'm not completely finished that 5th one. I just want to put 3 together. Okay, so just go into the next one, pull through, and go into the next one after that. So you get 4 loops. So by doing that, you end up creating that 5th gap. So if you want to double check, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You're going to chain 1, skip 1, and go back up. So there's 5 gapping spaces going back up. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Chain 1, and then the next one is the peak, and you'll put 5 in that one. So do the same thing going all the way across. I'll meet you at the end of this row to make sure you finish it right, and then we have one more row to do after this, and then your week number 3 is done. So as I come all the way back to the end, remember that there's 9 gapping spaces. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Chain 1, skip 1, and there is the 9th gapping space, and then the final 2 get put together. Okay, so there was no skipping of stitches after that final one that you put. So what I want you to do is fasten this off, and we're gonna bring back our white for the final row for this clue. So fasten this off, and I'll see you, and make sure you just go back to the start of this row, so don't turn. So let's bring back our next and last color. This is the last time you're going to do this row for now. You've got to repeat everything you just learned right from the aubergine all the way up. It's a total of 6 rows. You're gonna come into the top, see how these 2 are together. You're going to come into that one, and you were going to just attach with the slip stitch, pull everything nice and tight, and then chain 1, and you're going to put that one plus the next one together as a single crochet 2 together. So as you make your way up, what you need to do is that you need to go into a chain 1 space when there's chain 1 spaces, or a single crochet if there is one. This will make the gray look like it's doing peekaboo colors, which you see in the picture. So it's just 1 single crochet either in a stitch or a chain 1 space, depending what it is. So what we have to do is that once we get to the top, there's going to be 3 single crochets into the peak, and it's the middle one of the group of 3 that gets that. So you don't hear me counting at all, because I don't need to. I'm just watching my stitches as far as just waiting for that peak to appear into my palm of my hand, which is now happening. And I'm coming into the last gapping space. So what we have is the next one is the first one of the grouping of 3, and then the second one is going to be the top peak. So put in 3 single crochets there. We're now gonna go down, so just continue downward into the first single crochet and then a chain 1 space, and keep doing that. So the bottom of this is gonna be 3 together single crochets as we get there, and I'll show you how to identify that in a moment. So what we have here is that you can see this is the 3 together. So the space before it and the one before it right here and the one after it right here are going to become together. So we're not quite there yet. So we're gonna start with the space, collect it. You're gonna start with that single crochet of 3 together, and then the space after it, and put those together. So you're gonna work your way back up then the other side. So remember, the tops of the peaks, it's 3 together, or sorry, 3 into the same, and then at the bottom of the valleys it's 3 together. So please do this all the way, and this will complete this particular clue for week number 3, and I'll see you at the end of this row. So as you come to the very end, you're just going to put the final 2 stitches together. So you have 1 stitch, and then these are 2. So put that one, the final stitch there, and then this stitch, the very last one, it's 2 together underneath. Put that together, and then that's it. So you're going to finish off and just fasten this off. You're going to do the other side if you haven't done so already, and then get that done, and then see me next week as we continue our crochet along with our friends at Joann. This is a stitch along, and I'll see you next week. So now that you've done one side of your blanket, you're gonna go back and do the other side in order to grow it out equally. It's like a mirror, right? So let's continue on to week number 4 next week as we continue our stitch along with our friends over at Joann.com. I'm your host Mikey from the Crochet Crowd. We'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye. Hey everybody, welcome to week number 4 the Bernat Blanket Stitch Along with our friends over at Joanne.com. I'm your host Mikey from the Crochet Crowd. We're going to continue into week number 4 and continue to grow our Afghan outward on both sides. Once again, we're going to do some more stitch work and really make those colors pop. By this point in the stitch along, you were going to really start to see your Afghan materialize right before your very eyes, and you're probably getting excited at this point. So without further ado, let's head back on into the studio and let's get started now. So welcome back to week number 4. We're going to build out our Afghan even further out. So right at this point, we are in this section here, and we're going to then move out to here. We're going to do that on both sides. There is a white single crochet on the outside if you can't really see it that well here. So what we're going to do is that everything that you already know we're going to repeat again, but we're going to do it in the opposite direction so that this white striping line really takes the cake really for the visual effect. So we're just essentially doing the opposite to what we've done here in the opposite direction, meaning the color. So we're going to go back to gray and then back to burgundy plum, and then we're going to go back to aubergine for a couple rows and then back to vintage white. So it's really quite an easy thing to do. We're going to go back to our diagram now. It's on the last page, page number 3. Let's take a look. So on page number 3, you're going to see the diagram once again. So the grayed out one, the very beginning single crochet, is something you've already done. So now we're going to be building on from row number 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. What we really need to be paying attention to as we go is that we just have to make sure that we're capturing what we need to do as far as like where we're starting. So you're going to see that the first row starts on this side and continues all the way across. The next row also starts on this side, and then we're going to get back and then go back in the other direction. How can you tell that? By where the actual chain is to start. So the chains, if they're starting on the same side like you see in 9 and 10, you know that you have to return back in order to start there. So the next row, you see that it's a double crochet here, so therefore you obviously had to come back in that direction in order to get it. So we're going to be paying attention to that as we go, and we're going to start row number 9, and let's take a look at the sample here and show you what you're going to be doing. So last time I left you, we did the white outline right here, and now we're going to continue on with the gray. So the gray here, and then this color, this, and this. So you can see that it's really kind of working out to be opposite to what is already there. So if you look below it, you can see the gray was here, and then the burgundy, see? And then the aubergine was there, and then the vintage white is the only one that is not on the other side. But everything that you already know is going to be done in this particular section in week number 4. And without further ado, you're gonna have to do this with both sides. So the other side is not done yet, so I'm going to start there and pick it up and show you what to do from this point forward. So let's get our yarn out, let's get our gray, and let's begin. So first thing you're going to need to do is turn your project so right side is up. You can tell by the middle of your motifs what is the right side, and I'm just taking a look to verify here on the other side just to make sure that it is right. And you usually can tell by just the way that the stitching looks when you look at one side versus the other. So this is the right side up, and so when I look at it from this perspective, I can see that this is also the right side. So that's something that you get used to in time. So we're going to begin with the right side up, and we're going to be starting on this section right here, and we're going to start with our gray. Let's begin. So let's begin on the very edge one here. Let's create a slip knot to start. I'll put that on the hook. So when we look at it from this point of view, we had the actual 2 single crochets that were together that made into one stitch. So you got to make sure that you are compensating for that here. So we're just going to go into the top of the first one, and we're going to attach with the slip stitch and then chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. So now what we need to do, the next 2 are together. So right into the next 2 single crochets going in. Okay, just put that straggler over top so that it can hide it underneath. So pull through 2 and hold it, and then do the next one like that as well. Okay, so you got 3 loops, pull through all 3. So that was the 2 together, double crochet. So this chain 3 makes it look like there's 3. So now you're just gonna work in every stitch going all the way to the top of the peak. And in the top of the peaks, like you did before, there's going to be 5 double crochets. So it's in the middle one of the grouping of 3 single crochets. That's where you're going to put the 5. Let me get you up there now, and I'll see you there in just a moment. So I'm just coming near to the top. I'm looking for the middle one of 3. You don't hear me counting at all because I'm more visual than anything of just looking where it is. So this is the first, second, and third of the group. So the next one is just a one double by itself, and now the next one is the very top. It's the middle one of the group of 3, so put in 5 double crochets there. So let's count that out. So I've already done 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and that allows it to turn back down. So starting in the next stitch, you're just gonna double crochet yourself, and what I want you to do is get close to the bottom section here. I'll meet you there, show you we have to put 5 together double crochets again. I'll give you the visual cue that you need in order to do that right. So just keep double crocheting until you get to that spot, and I'll see you there in a moment. So I have to put a 5 together double crochet. So right where you see them grouped together, this is the middle one. This is where the 3 together double crochet or single crochet are. This is the middle. So if I have to put 5 double crochet together, you have to include the 2 before it and then the 2 after it. Okay, so if this is the middle, the 2 that are right in front of it. So if you can look at that. So to put 5 together, we've done this before, just start collecting. So this is the middle one now of the grouping, and then you do 2 after that one, and you should have 6 loops left on your hook. Okay, you got 6. Pull through all 6. So now you just jump into the next one and just start double crocheting till they get to the top, and in the tops again will be 5 double crochets, and then when you hit the next bottom one, it's exactly what I just showed you, and then you're gonna put 5 together. So please do this all the way across, and we'll continue along then after that. So as you come to the end of the row, the last 3 stitches will be come together 3 double crochet together. So 1, 2, and 3. Don't forget this one looks like 2 because it is, but in the top it came together, so don't forget to do that. So don't forget to don't look at it from a perspective that it's more than what it is. So the final 3 stitches are 3 together double crochet, and then once you get that done, you're going to fasten this off, and then you're just going to go back to the start of this row again and start and go this way again one more time as we continue then into the burgundy plum. So fasten this off now, and then I'll see you at the next starting point in the next row. So let's begin the next row. It's row number 10. It's exactly what you already did down here in week number 3. So we're gonna start exactly the same way and continue up, and then we're gonna come up and down just out of the way across, and then come back in the other direction and stop there. So what we're going to do is just fasten on, use an extra long strand of yarn here so that you can use a darning needle to hide it in, because you have a chain work, it's harder to do that, to hide that. So you're going to come into the top of the grouping of 3 that you see. That is the very starting one, and you're going to fix with the slip stitch and then chain 3. So like you did before, so we're just gonna put that straggler behind and secure it with the darning needle later. You're going to skip the next 3, so 1, 2, and 3, and in the 4th one you want to apply 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3, and then chain 1. So skip the next 3 and double crochet 3 times. So 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1, skip the next 3, so 1, 2, 3. So how many groups of 3 are you gonna have? Well, if you remember from week number 3, it's going to be 4 on this edge. So chain 1, so 1, 2, 3. So there'll be 4 on the edge here before you get to the very top. Again, if you're off with your stitch counts, this is an opportunity to fix it so that you can get it to work right for you. So what you want to do is you want to chain 1 first, and then look for the middle one of the grouping of 5. And that'll be the top of that for you, and you're going to then just continue to double crochet 3 times, and technically speaking, so that middle one should be about 3 stitches away from the other one that you have. So chain 2, and coming into the same one again, another grouping of 3 double crochet. So let's continue to go down the other side. Chain 1, and you're going to skip 3, so just making sure that you do that. So 1, 2, 3, go to the 4th, 3 double crochet again. So in these smaller ups and downs in the middle section here, there's only 2 groups of 3. So chain 1, skip another 3, so 1, 2, 3, go to the 4th, and it's 3 double crochet there too. So because you're now gonna hit the bottom peak right here, you're gonna skip 5. So 1 2 3 4 5, go to the 6 and then double crochet into the next one for 3. Notice that I did not chain 1 after I did that, after I skipped all those, and that's the very bottom section right there. So then you're gonna continue up, skip another 3 double crochets in, and then chain 1, and then up at the top again 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, and go up and down in that manner, going all the way. So I'll see you at the end of this row, and then we'll pick up there. We'll return back in the other direction and verify that you are on the right track. So I'll see you in just a moment. So as you make your way to the other side, you're going to have 4 groups of 3 double crochets working its way down the other side. So we have 1 2 3, chain 1, skipping another 3, and then you get your last grouping of 3 here. But we're not quite done yet. We need to reach over to the very beginning that you had over here. Okay, so reach right over and just don't chain 1, and just reach over into the top of these 3 together double crochets here, and just double crochet. So now you're going to turn your work, and you're going to begin again, and let's just turn, and you're going to chain up 3. So 1 2 and 3, reaching in between the gapping spaces like you did before in week 3. You're just going to work your way up again. So any corrections that you needed to do in the last row, if you had to do any at all, is pretty much hidden at this point, and you just carry on as normal. So chain 1 going into the next one. So at the very tops you're going to put in your 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, and then I will just pick you back up at the base. So right where it just goes back down in between, I'll pick you up there, and I'll just reiterate what you need to do. So at the top one here, just a 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. I'll see you at the bottom of the next valley. So I'm at the very top peak here. I'm making my way down. So the goal is that to skip over the middle section. So we're gonna come down into here, here, and then skip this. This is the very middle, and then go immediately here. So these 2 are gonna be the ones to keep it attaching so that it keeps it in the right formation. Don't forget to be chaining 1 after your groups of 3 double crochet, except for the very bottom one in the valley. You don't want to do that there. You want to keep it nice and tight. So chain 1. So this is the last one going down on this hill. So 3 double crochets. Do not chain 1 after this one, because you were going to link it over. So you're going to skip over the middle one here, go right over here, and 3 double crochets there. So it keeps it nice and tight in the valley. So then you're gonna make your way to the top, and now you start chaining 1 again. And then make your way back to the top, and then at the tops again, if we remember, it's 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, make your way back down, and continue in the up and down motion going all the way across. I'll see you at the end of this row. Now I'm coming all the way to the other side, and we're going to fasten off this yarn. Just let me show you how to finish off. If you've already done week number 3, then this is the same finishing that you did before. So you're coming into all the spots in between all the way down. There should be 4 groups of 3 double crochet going down that are separated with chain 1s. So once you get there, there's no more groups of 3 to go in between. So you just have this left. So do not chain 1 first at the very end, and just go into the top of the first one there, the first turning chain, and then that's it. So we're gonna get rid of that color now, and then we're gonna be back, and then we'll start another one. So get rid of these strands, and I'll see you back here in just a moment. So let's turn our project. Everything is secured in, and I want to start again. So we're gonna turn. Now we're gonna bring back the aubergine that you see here. So if you look at it, you can see how it's looking like it's a mirror of it. And so we're going to do aubergine again, and we're going to start off in the very top section right here. So it's just gonna be double crochets. So go right into the very first one, create a slip knot, and you already kind of know how to do this already if you've been following along at this point. So attach it and chain 3. So 1 2 3. So the first one that has 3 double crochets, the first 2 are going to be 2 together double crochet. And so by pulling through all 3, you've just made 3 together double crochet, because this chain 3 is going to count as one of them. Okay, so there's officially 2 actually done, but the chaining 3 makes it look like 3. So now what you're going to do is just 1 double crochet in each one of the stitches, including the chain 1 spaces all the way to the top. So do you remember what to do at the top? It's 5 double crochets at the top. So it's basically exactly the way that you did the gray here. That's how we're kind of doing it, but on the very base here what we need to do is that we need to change it slightly because you have a slightly different stitch count. So we're gonna just change that there, and then I'll meet you there in just a moment. So just 1 double crochet in each of the stitches and chain 1 spaces. There'll be 5 double crochets at the top peak, and then I'll meet you here and I'll just verify that you're knowing what to do your 3 together double crochets in order to pull these together. So I've gone up over the top of the peak and now I'm coming down, and now I want to pay attention to the 2 ones that are in the middle. Okay, so these 2 that I want to pay attention to. So I'm just gonna still continue to double crochet in each stitch going down, and I'm going to double crochet right into the final chain 1 space before I hit that section. So there it is right there. So the 2 middle ones here, we're going to put them together with the 3 double crochet together. You're going to start off in the first one, so right in the first stitch of this one. So start, do the space for the number 2, and then do the last one here just like that. So those 3 just became 1. So pull through all 4 loops. And then you just start in the next gapping space, chain 1 space, and make your way back to the top and put 5 double crochets in the top. So when you get back down to the next time you hit the valley, you just have to pay attention to where you are and just do your 3 together double crochets. That'll pull that in. So please do the remaining of the row just like this. So as you come to the end of the line, the last 3 stitches, which is the chain and the 2 of these of the grouping of 3, will become togethers. So just once you get to your last 3, just put those 3 together. So this is the last one by itself, and so the middle one, the next one, and the chain become together with 3 double crocheted together. So we're gonna turn our work and do another row of aubergine. So just pull through, and then just we're gonna continue, so just lock it, and we're going to start and do the next row. So let's begin row number 13. So we have 1 more row after this, so we're gonna just chain a 2. So when I locked it before, that was 1, considered 1 chain. This is 2 and 3. Okay, so normally I would have just stopped and then just chain 3, but I had you to lock it just for tutorial reasons. So our very first stitch is right here. So let's see how these grouping are all working together. So we're just going to then group 2 together now. So we're just gonna grab the next one and the one after that and make 2 together. And so with this chain that you did plus those 2 gives you again 3 together double crochets. You're gonna work your way up then to the top of the peak, and in the top of the peak, the middle one of the group of 5 will have 5 more double crochets put into it, and then I'll meet you at the base where it comes together down over here, and I'll show you how to put 5 together down there as well, and just what you need to look for if you haven't already clued in on that. So I'll see you there in just a moment. So as you come and you start doing the valleys, what you have to watch for is that this one here is the middle. So just kind of look at it here. That one is the middle. So you need to grab the 2 ones in before it and 2 after it for 5 together double crochet. So if this is the middle, these are the first 2 before it, and then the next 2 after it. So let's begin. So we're gonna collect and we're gonna do 5 together double crochets. So the middle one is the next one. Nice and easy. If you can identify stitches, it just makes it quicker for you. So then there's 5 on the, or sorry, there's 6 loops on there, pulled through all 6, and then just start up the other side into the next stitch going up, and then put 5 at the top, and the grouping of 5 you'll put it in the middle one. So when you get to the next valley, just make sure that you can identify your stitches here at the bottom and put your 5 together double crochet. Please do this all the way across for this row. So I'm coming up to the end of this, and we are going to then just put the last 3 stitches together. We had done this before, way back before this week at Clues for sure. But it's exactly how you're finishing the gray that you saw in the very beginning of this one that we started with today's clue, with week number 4. So we're just looking for the final 4 stitches. I can feel in my palm that I'm not quite there yet, but I'm pretty close. So I can see that these 3 belong together, and that's just a fluke. I happen to stop in the right section. So these 3 belong together, so that's 1 stitch, 2 and 3. So put the final 3 stitches together with 3 double crochet together. I want you to fasten off this yarn at this time, and you are going to then start, you're going to turn your work, and then we're going to start the white. We're going to do one more layer of white, and then this is it for today's clues, and you're going to do this exactly on both sides of your work so that it's equal. So just get rid of this and just turn it, and I'll see you, and we'll begin the last row together. So let's bring back your white for the final row on this side, and then if this is the second time that you've done it, then you're good to go. But if you haven't done this to the other side of your work, you'll have to do it. And then we'll meet back then on week number 5. And we're over the halfway point, so it's actually pretty good. So these 3 are together as one stitch. So that's the one you're gonna go into. And you're just gonna chain or slip stitch to join, chain 1, and put this stitch, the same one, and the next stitch together as 2 together single crochet. So now you're going to work your way up. Every stitch is going to get a single crochet, and then what you're going to do then from this point is that at the very top you'll put 3 single crochets into the same one. Okay, and then when you get to the base, and we've already covered this before in the other weeks, in the base here you'll put the middle 3 together. So this is the middle one, so you'll get the first one and the second one and put those 3 together. So you're just gonna go up and down. I'll meet you there anyway. We'll make sure that you know that. Make sure the middle one of the grouping of 5 is the one that gets 3 single crochets in it. I'll see you at this section right here. So I'm making my way. I've already done the top peak. 3 single crochets went into the top middle one. So I'm looking for the base. So here's the middle. See how they're kind of grouping together? So the middle, the one before, and the one after. So I gotta do one more before I can do that. So we're gonna do 3 single crochet together. So in, pull through, into the next one, pull through. That's the middle one, and the one after it, pull through, and you got 4 loops. Pull through all 4. And that was the 3 together for single crochet. You're gonna start in the next one, working your way back to the top. Again, in the top peaks, you're gonna put 3 double crochets or 3 single crochets into the top of the grouping of 5 double crochets that exists. You're just gonna go on up and down motion, and then you're gonna fasten off at the end of this. You're going to do the other side if this is the first time through, and then I'll see you then on week number 5 in order to continue along. And really the hard work is pretty much already almost done. So let's continue along, and I'll just get this ready for you, and we'll finalize this one off for today. So finally, when you come to the very end, remember the last 3 here, that's 1 stitch, that's the one before. So make sure the final 2 stitches become 2 single crochet together, and then that's it. So what you're going to do then is fasten this off, do the other side if you haven't done so already, and then meet me back here, and then we'll begin week number 5. So again, like before, what you've done to the one side, you're going to do to the other in order to continue the mirror effect of your Bernat Blanket stitch along with our friends at Joann. So get that done, and I'll see you on week number 5 because we're already past the halfway point, and let's continue then. So until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of the Joann as well as myself here at the Crochet Crowd. We'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye. Welcome back to the Bernat Blanket Stitch along with our friends over at Joann.com. We're continuing on now to week number 5. We're going to be filling in those jagged spots in the end and now making it a nice flat surface on the outside. So almost the growth is almost done on this particular blanket. So without further ado, let me show you how to fill in those gaps, and let's get started. I'll take you to the studio now. So let's get started on week number 5. Week number 5, we're going to fill in all these triangle spaces. They're each individual, so they're not running together, which makes it actually more simpler to be able to follow. The trick that you need to watch for is make sure that you are on the right side. So the right side is facing up, and then you're going to crochet along. So what we have is that we have 4 corners that are the same stitch work, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the one in the middle first, and you're going to do all of them, and then I'll show you the edging one here, the corner one as well. It's actually pretty simple to be able to follow, and I think that you'll enjoy it. So let's take a look at the next page, page number 2. So page number 2 is the diagram, and you can see that there's only 3 rows here. These are for sections that are not involving the corner. Really quite easy, so you just go across and then back and then across and you're done. So you just want to make sure you weave it in your tails as you go and get those out of your way. Then in the corners that you have a total of 4 rows, so it's over and back and over and back and over. So it's actually really quite simple. The thing that you need to watch out for the most is right here. this one here, do not do anything with that. So when you're going to go across, you're always just gonna leave that middle one empty. So it doesn't matter which one it is, leave that middle one empty so that when you come across, you're stopping on the one that is right before it. So there's a grouping of 3, so you're in the first one here, and then when you go to start the next one, that you're in this side. So leave that one completely empty so it's nice and flat for you. So without further ado, let's start this one here, the triangle, and then I'll show you the corner piece. So here we are, and I'm going to do this triangle first, and then I'll move on to the corner piece just like you see. So it's one across and back and across, and of course we leave the middle one of the grouping of 3 empty so that you don't do anything with it. And then we're gonna do our corner starting up and back and up and back and up. So it's actually really quite a simple way to be able to follow, and I did it really without counting too much, because if you can look for where the bases are and where things are coming together, it makes it a lot more simpler. I found with myself is that once I started this, I got to understand the pattern, so I just actually kind of whipped them off pretty quickly as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take you to and do this little one first, and then we can do the corners after. The biggest thing that you need to watch for, my friends, is to make sure this is the right side up. So you can see, and how I can be able to tell that, you see this section right here? That is the right side, because on the other side it looks like it's not aligning properly on the back side. So you just gotta watch for that, make sure that it's gonna be what you need. Okay, so just look for it and you'll see that everything looks really quite perfectly when it's on the front side. So without further ado, let's start you on a little triangle here and then move to a corner next. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm going to start off with a slip knot, and I am going to start off and I'm going to look for the grouping of 3 in the middle. Now I've already done this one, so this is the first one, and this is the second, and then this is the third. So this one, because I'm going in this direction, is the third one that I want to stick my hook in. And I want to attach it with a slip stitch and then chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. Keep the straggler down on top of the line and bury it as you go. So we're gonna do a 2 together double crochet. So just going into the next one, pull through 2 and hold it, and the next one after that, pull through 2 and hold it. So when you go to pull through all 3, it appears to be 3 double crochets together. Okay, so that's how you start that. So what I want you to do is that I want you to double crochet yourself down towards the valley, and I want you can either count it down or you can look for the visual marker in order to know that you're at the right spot. So because this is my last triangle of this one that I've done, I've gotten to know this pattern really well. So this one here is the middle one of the valley. So you notice how I stopped? I just naturally did it. So this is the valley, so you want to do 5 together double crochets in the valley. So this is the middle one, so you want the 2 in front of it and the 2 in behind it in order to make that work. So let's do a 5 together double crochet. And we're just gonna start collecting, and you will end up with 6 loops on your hook by the time you're all said and done. So there's 5 now and 6. Now you're just gonna pull through all 6 like that. Okay, so now you're gonna work your way up the other side. You can not hear me counting because I'm not. So what I'm looking for when I come up the other side, and I think that's the whole point of a tutorial, is to show you what to look for, not necessarily how to count all the time. So I know that there's 3 in the center. I know that the middle one I'm never gonna touch, and I know that the first one here is the last one. So that one plus 3 more, or plus 2 more, which is a total of 3, is going to tell me when I need to start doing a 3 together double crochet for the edge, which is next. Okay, so this is the one I need to stop at. So this is the last one, so the 2 in front of it need to be the ones to also do the 3 together double crochet. Okay, so you have 4 loops on the hook, pull through all 4. So without having to turn the afghan all the way around, you don't really need to, just to be able to see it and access it, just makes it easier and quicker for you. You're going to chain a total of 3, and that counts as part of 3 together double crochet, which will happen. The next one is right here. Okay, so this whole glob of stuff is all 1 stitch. So your next one there, and you're gonna collect the next 2 together and make that a 2 together double crochet and pull through all 3 loops. And now with that, it looks like a 3 together double crochet. So in this particular instance, you have 1 double crochet that's sitting by itself, and then you do your 5 together double crochets. So you start collecting the next 5. You can see that on the diagram too, that there was 1 stitch that was on its own in this particular row. So you're looking for a total of 6 loops on the hook. Pull through all of them, and then you just have one that stands by itself because it was on the other side as well. There was one just before we did all that, and then the last 3 stitches, see, 1, 2 and 3, those are going to be together as a 3 together double crochet. See how these are coming together here? Don't confuse this chain as an extra stitch. It's not. It's part of that whole mess, or that whole glob. Mess may not be the right word, but sometimes it could look like a mess. So you're just going to turn your work, and now you're going to chain 3, and this is going to count as one of the grouping of 5. So you just advance to the next one and put the next 4 together. And that concludes that. So now that you got your 5 loops on your hook, okay, that's what you want. You want to pull through all 5 and you're done. That's it. So what you're just gonna do is just loop it and pull through, and then you're gonna cut that, and you're going to use your darning needle and weave in your ends. Okay, so I was burying the other one. I always pop it to the back when I do it. And then remember, for your particular instance here, you want to go back and forth a total of 3 times to bury this in completely. So just 1. And when you do that, it'll settle down that spot as well. So 2 and 3. So that would be how you would do those particular triangles. So you'll just move down the project and grab another one, or do another triangle, and just fill those all in just like you see. So what we're gonna do now is that we're going to advance ourselves to a corner. The corners are pretty simple. There's 5 rows to do that. To do the corner, you're just gonna look at it. You're looking at the right side up, so it's the same side that you started these little triangles. You remember you got 3 in the corner up at the top peak. You're gonna skip the middle one, and you're just gonna go for the first one. So wrap that hook, put a slip knot on there first to lock it into position. Just go into that one, and then just slip stitch it to attach, and then chain 3. So 1, 2 and 3. So the next 2 in a row, you're gonna put those together. Kind of how we did it before, right? So you're gonna put those together, pull through all 3 loops. So this starting chain plus those 2 give it the illusion of 3 together double crochet. You're just gonna double crochet yourself across, and then the final 3 stitches that you can identify will each be a double crochet, or will be 3 together double crochet at the other side. So because the distance is more, as far as longer than the other distance that you had in the other triangles, it's a little bit more work in order to do this one here, but it fills in quite beautifully once it's done. So I'm just getting close to the edge. I can feel it in the palm of my hand. So remember that there's 2 together here, so that's 1, 2 and 3. So I have 2 more stitches that I want to fill in with the regular double crochet before I do the final 3 together double crochet. Notice then that I'm not counting. I'm only looking for the visual cues. So 1, 2 and 3. So put those 3 together. I'm gonna have to trim that out. And do your last one, and then pull through all 4 loops and turn your work. So you don't have to turn everything, you just got to turn the part that you're working on. So you're just gonna chain 3, and then the first 2 are gonna come together. This whole area here is 1, so the next 2 are right here, and you're just gonna put those together with the 2 double crochet together, and with the 3 loops pulling together, it gives the illusion of 3 together double crochet. And now you're just gonna double crochet yourself across, and then you're going to stop and do a 3 together double crochet on the final 3 stitches of this section going across. So every time you cross, you're eliminating out 4 stitches, which makes it really quite quicker to be able to get it done. So it's almost like a corner to corner concept, and essentially every time you pass there's less and less to do. So I'm looking for the key. So this here is 1 stitch. Okay, all those 3 are at the end. So plus that one and that one. So that will be the 3 that come together. So we're gonna just grab the next one and the one after that, and the final one here. I put those together and then that's it. So you're going to turn back, you're going to chain 3 and then just grab the first 2 and put them together and then just double crochet yourself across, and then the last 3 stitches are going to come together once again. So this is the 3rd pass. There's a total of 5 passes in order to do this. Okay, so these 3 are considered 1, 2 and 3. I just happen to stop right where I should have. As you get used to patterns, sometimes your body naturally does what it needs to do. Pull through all 4 loops, turn your work. Let's keep on getting smaller, so chain up 3. Put the first 2 together. So the next 2 are by themselves, and I can tell that by the pattern, and I've also done it several times that I understand that as well. And then the final 3 are together. So this whole group here is 1, 2 and 3. Put those together. Okay, and then this is the last pass. So on the corner, if you remember from the triangle, we end up having 5 that came together. On the corner here there's only 4, so you're gonna chain up 3 and then it's only the collecting of the next 3 because there's only 3 left anyway to be able to pull those together. So it's a 3 together double crochet, and then you're just gonna pull through everything and then just loop it and pull through and then just fasten this off and then just do all of your corners and just get yourself ready then for week number 6, which will be the final week to do your border. So again, like before, what you've just learned on one side, you're going to do the other so that you have nice flat edges in order to continue on with your final week, week number 6 next time. So until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as my friends over at Joann.com. We'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye. Welcome to week number 6, the final week. This is the cherry on top. This is what concludes the last 6 weeks altogether. So we're going to be working on this, and we're going to be applying a border that goes around it to bring it all into symmetrics. It's going to be awesome, it's going to be wonderful, and it's going to be giveable by the end of today's clue. So without further ado, let's head on into the studio and let's show you how to do the final border so that you can able to gift it for someone or keep it for yourself. So let's begin week number 6. So at this point now you have all your triangles filled in, and now we're just going to do a simplistic border just like you see. It is double crochet for most of it, but there is some back loops to be done in order to give it the final look for this project. So let's go on to page number 2. Let's look at the diagram and let's get this thing finished. So here's a copy of the diagram, and everything in gray has already been done, and now we're going to move up to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So what we have here is that you see the instructions that you see here for everything that appears on this graph. Now for the border, you only really have to worry about the double crochets, and you're going to see half moon shapes, and if you look at it, it's working the back loop only. So that particular round is going to be doing that. So you just got to look at the color breakdown in order to get this to go. So we're going to be using vintage white, which is the same as these colors, and it says to evenly space a certain amount of stitches going all the way across. It's 95 around in there. Now because it's evenly spaced and because the corners are so simplistic, if you had 96 or 94 or 90, it really will work out for you because it's not done based on a multiple of anything happening here in the center. So what you're going to do is just start off in the corner, and you're going to make sure that the first round has 3 single crochets in a corner, and then you're just going to equally space your single crochets attaching it. I'm going to show you a trick that when you're going to attach, never try to go around a post, just try to go into like a chain work of a post, and then that will not make the stitches open up so drastically for you. So without further ado, let's go on to round number 1 and let's get yourself started. So let's begin round number 1. We're going to start off right in the corner, and let's just create a slip knot to begin. We're going to insert the hook onto it. And so you're going to notice because you're working on the side of the rows, that's why you're equally spacing all the way and the other way as well. So you're just going to go right into a corner, just choose something, and because you're using white, the same color, is really quite forgiving. So you're just going to attach with a slip stitch, chain 1, and you're going to put 3 single crochets into the same spot that you just joined that with, and that will be your turning. So anytime you have a corner in this round, it'll always be 3 single crochets. Now because I have It's just kind of sticking on me here. There we go. And so we're gonna put 3 in there. So we're just gonna move along the edge. So you're just gonna kind of look at it and just equally space the distance. Now if you go right around a whole post like this, it will open it up. I know you can't really see it that well, but it will open up. So if you go right into an actual chain work itself, so it takes a little bit of extra time just in the first round to do that. If you go around a chain work instead, it'll keep it from opening up and keep it nice and solid. And you're just gonna equally space your single crochets out as you're working your way across. So what I want you to do is equally space out. It says to do 95 stitches across. If it's anything more or less, just make sure that when you're going across that it looks like it's balanced. So if it's starting to look really wavy on you, that means that you're putting in too many stitches. And if it's starting to curl up like this, it means that there's too few of stitches and you need to add in a little bit more to keep it settled down. So I want you to equally space your single crochets across, and then in the next corner make sure you put your 3 single crochets. Now do you see that there's a big gap here? So what I want to do is just back that out. I'm looking for that kind of stuff, and it's nice to show this kind of thing on camera with you so that you don't end up with stuff that looks like that. So you just want to keep very consistent. So please do that all the way around, and I'll see you here in just a moment. So this is round number 1. So when you get all the way back around to the very beginning, then you're just going to then just stop, and you're just gonna slip stitch to the top of the first single crochet. Again, I just equally spaced it out as I went. So just slip stitch. So we're now going to fasten this off, and I want you to bring back the gray, and then we're gonna start right in that corner. So let's start the next one. We're going to create a slip knot using gray, and in the third one, so sorry, the middle of the 3, you just gotta look for it. It's right there. You're just going to insert your hook in and attach. So this round is all about double crochets. So you're just gonna chain up a total of 3, which counts as one of the double crochets, and you're going to put 5 double crochet into that same one that you did the join with, and that will allow it to turn the corner. So what you're going to do for this round is that every single crochet that you applied, you're just gonna put a double crochet into the stitch, and then when you get to the next corner, it's the middle one of the grouping of 3 that also gets 5 double crochets. So just continue to double crochet yourself all the way around for round number 2 of doing the border. So I'm coming up all the way around using my gray, and we're going to continue gray for another round. Now the next round we're only gonna use the back loops of the stitches. Now if you're new to crochet, don't panic. Back loops are just where you're sticking the hook. It's not anything major. There's no somersaults involved in order to do so. So as I make my way back around, I'm going to go into my very last stitch and then attach with a slip stitch to the top of the first chain 3 that we had started with, and that's coming up in just a few seconds here. Okay, so I got what do we got? Remember that there was 3 single crochets here, and what we're going to do is just go into the first single crochet that we didn't go into the first time, and then just finish that off. So just attach to the first chain 3, or the first chain 3. So now let's continue our next round. So what we want to do is just chain up 3. So 1, 2, 3. If you're new to crochet, there's always 2 strands, and that makes up a stitch. So let me just grab a pencil here. So what you have is that you have 2 strands and they make up 1 stitch. Now if you go into the first strand like this, this is a front loop, and if you go into the second one like that, then it's the back loop. So what we want to do is in the entire project now going forward is that we are going to go in the back loops. So you're gonna go in the back loop of the next stitch. So just jump into the back, and once you start seeing it, it'll open up for you. It's pretty easy. So the next one after that is the middle one of the grouping of 5. So in that's the corner. So continue the corners just how you know, in the back loops only, just 5 double crochet. I think there's 4 in there, so this is 5. So just continuing then across your blanket until you get to the middle one of the group of 5 on the other side, and just stay in the back loops and just double crochet yourself all the way around, and I'll see you at the end of this round. So I'm now coming all the way back to the end, and I'm just going into the very last stitch here, and you can see that this is part of this one here, so then that belongs. So you're just going to just slip stitch it and then be done with this gray. So we have 2 more rounds to do. We're going to bring back our plum color, and we're gonna get started, and let's begin to do that next. So let's begin our final color, and this is the second last round, and then your stitch along is complete. We're just going to slip this onto the hook. So right when I look at this here, I want to start off in the very beginning. One. Okay, so we fastened off here. So this is the very first one here that we're going to start with, and that's where we're going to fasten on. So what we need to pay attention to is the corners, and I'll get there in a second. So let's fasten on with the slip stitch. Chain one, and let's just do a single crochet in that same one just to get that nice. Put the straggler down on top. So now each stitch is going to get one single crochet each except for the middle one of the grouping of 5. So right in the middle, so this is the one in the middle. So you're gonna put in 3 single crochets every time you hit a corner, and it's the middle one of the group of 5. So I want you to continue all the way around then, single crocheting into each except for the corners, put in 3 there, and then just carry on, and we'll see you at the end of this round and starting into the next round, your final round, to get your stitch along done for this here. So I'm coming up to the very end of this round, and then we have one more round to go. Are you excited? You only got one more round, and for those that have been following us throughout the weeks, you are almost done. So we're gonna do our last round as a reverse single crochet. It's also referred to as a crab stitch in order to go back in the other direction. So this one here is part of this one, so don't confuse that. So just slip stitch to the top of the first single crochet. Okay, to do the reverse single crochet, you're just gonna chain 1 and go into the same one that you have and just single crochet as normal. But instead of advancing forward, you're gonna advance to backward. So you're gonna go to the stitch before you, and you're just gonna sneak in there and just yarning over and pulling it through and pull through 2. Takes a bit of getting used to do the reverse single crochet, but once you get onto it, it's easy. So again, go to the one before, just scoop up underneath and follow it through with the single. It's a single crochet. It's just a matter of just going backwards. So what this is doing is it's creating a thicker edging than normal by doing that, because it's causing the yarn to wrap around, and it almost looks like rope when you're done. See how it kind of looks like that? So you're going to go every stitch, so even in the corners, it doesn't matter, every stitch is going to get a reverse single crochet, so you don't have to compensate for any corner work at all. Just one reverse single crochet in each of the stitches going all the way around. So please do that, and then we'll fasten this off together, and then that's it. Your stitch along is then complete. So I'm just coming up to the end of this round. I'm coming around the final corner. Remember that there was only one reverse single crochet in each, so there's nothing special you had to do with the corners, so it just follows it around. And we're gonna come into the very last stitch right now. So how you fasten off is really quite critical. So I'm here at the last stitch, so I'm just gonna leave an extra long tail, and if you do it right, it'll look almost seamless. So just pull it all the way through, and then just grab your darning needle, and what you want to do is you want to glide it under to where you had started. Okay, so just go right underneath to where you started, and I want you to pull it to the back side, so it's going out the back, and when you pull it, I want you to make it look like it looks like it belongs. So let's see, pull it down, see? It's almost like you can't even tell it's there. So then just come to the back side and just glide through. So this is the second of a pass. Remember, I always said to go back and forth 3 times. So when you go back in the other direction, make sure that you don't warp it in any way. So just kind of fluff it out, and then go back finally in the 3rd direction. Stay toward the back side as well. So I want you to get rid of any loose tails that you have, and this is it for the particular stitch along. And this has actually been quite amazing and actually really kind of fun at the same time, and I have a beautiful project to show for that. Hey everybody, look what I did! Woo! Isn't this awesome? This is your stitch along, and I'm so proud of this. I got the perfect place in my house for this. Enjoy your stitch along, and we'll see you again next time. So that's it, my friends. This is the very end, and you can now give your Afghan away. You can keep it for yourself or put it away for a rainy day. So this has really been a lot of fun, and of course we've been doing stitch alongs for Joanne for a few years now. We may have something next year, but you'll have to stay tuned again in the future. Remember, any projects that you want to do and Joanne's involved, please use the hashtag of Handmade with Joanne, and you're welcome if it's one of ours to use the Crochet Crowd as well for your hashtags. So we'll see you again real soon, and we hope that you've enjoyed this stitch along with us.